Hello, this is Dr. Garrett Castleberry, Associate Professor and Program Director of Communication, Media, and Ethics at Mid-America Christian University, and the instructor for our course, Digital Media Literacy, COM 2143. I just want to unpack this class a tiny bit and introduce you to the two key readings that we're going to be using in the course this semester together. Digital Media Literacy is, on one hand, kind of an introductory course in the major. It's a 2000 level class. On the other hand, we're going to tackle some big ideas and big subjects and hopefully expand our worldview in enormous ways in the course together. And really the concept for this type of class is birthed out of a couple of needs. Increasingly, journalism, now digital journalism fields, are seeking to generate not just ethics training for students or journalists, but we need it at a massive level. We need it in a worldwide scale. But that starts with the personal, with the local, with the immediate. And so this class is intended to give us some training on how we can be better citizens, not just in our physical, geographical communities, but in digital spaces, increasingly where we spend so much of our time, even with those maybe in the same house or same workforce, the same organization. We invest a lot of our days and certainly our mental energy toward digital spaces. And the outcome is there's all kinds of information trafficking there. And in fact, as we've seen in recent years, the kinds of information that can mislead, misinform, and misinterpret whatever we concede to be little t truths, and perhaps even some big T truths as well. But we're gonna unpack that, okay? And if you have no previous background in communication or communication studies or media studies, that's okay. That's not a problem. There's no prerequisite. In fact, we highly encourage this course as an elective to those outside of our major. It pairs well with a lot of areas. It pairs well with business in a general sense. It pairs well with digital marketing. It pairs well with psychology. And in fact, it would pair incredibly well with Christian ministries. And I'm just naming a few of our most popular majors on campus. But even educators in the world, and I know education majors don't get a lot of elective space, but even educators would benefit from a course like Digital Media Literacy, because in an era where we're all on social media and there's that temptation to say whatever we want, to use it as a not just a place to post updates or share pics, but to vent, to maybe get into debates or tiffs with others, we have to micromanage our thoughts versus our reactions. And this is the kind of class where we're going to have some of those discussions. But it's not just going to be about social media and that kind of thing. We're going to talk about maybe media in a broader sense. We'll get into a little bit of media persuasion, right? Talk about persuasion and how this term applies to content that gets shared, not just on the internet, but in media in general. So to help us, we have two books in the course, and let me introduce this one. This is actually a book that we consider a core essential read in the communication major. It's called Spreadable Media, Creating Value and Meaning in a Networked Culture. It's by Henry Jenkins, Sam Ford, and Joshua Green. This is the second edition. I believe it dropped in 2018. However, the first edition, here's a hardback version. The first edition was 2013. It's been updated every 5 years, which means it's probably they're about to drop a third edition on us if they haven't already. You're safe with either edition, so I don't want to alienate if you're looking for a cheaper route to acquire that book. But let me say this, it's a really valuable book with a ton of case studies. In fact, we may even do some case study reports out of the website that accompanies this book. So this book was built in a kind of multimedia, multimodal way, and so there's some expanded resources that you get access to, and should make for some rich conversations. And we're gonna take an exploration in a number of ways. Well, sometimes for those new and returning to the world of media and communication, we understand the value of key terms. It's important to have language with which to discuss things. And a term like digital media literacy is worth unpacking. And so we have a very short textbook type work that we're going to introduce into this class. We haven't used it before in our accelerated courses, but this is a semester-long experience, and we're excited to incorporate digital literacy, a primer on media identity and the evolution of technology. And this is from Susan Weisinger with Ralph Beliveau, and that's a Peter Lang publication. It's, as I said, it's lean. You're going to be able to get through it really quick. We're going to move at a pace that's not going to be a problem for you to keep up with. And I do contend you're going to get a lot out of it. It's going to teach you some terms and give you a context with which to better understand digital media literacy. And that's where we all start learning. We're going to have some fun and do some other types of things this semester. With such a longer span of time, we really are going to be able to take take a nice controlled look at this subject area. We may even have a surprise or two. Maybe you have a guest speaker at some point. We may also dive in. I've got a couple of different, retro kind of classical films that are warning signs about media that could be interesting. We might choose one. There's about 3 films that come to mind that are exceptional to this conversation. We might choose one at some point to maybe break into 2 different days. And also, we're going to have a digital media literacy fake news scavenger hunt. So we're going to get into some really healthy and contemporary topics on things like fake news, misinformation, and that sort of thing. A lot on deck, and we'll be in touch with more. We'll be able to have these conversations in person. So we will hopefully shepherd folks along and have a great semester together in Comp 2143 Digital Media Literacy.